Hello everyone and welcome back to another one of our stage previews of the 2025 Giro d'Italia. Stage 6 of the Giro is a lengthy 226-kilometer long expedition that carries the peloton from the inland of Potenza to the vibrant coastal metropolis of Naples or Napoli. Examining the elevation profile, this stage clearly presents a tale of two halves, a demanding undulating opening 140 kilometers followed by a significantly flatter run-in to the finish, heavily suggesting a showdown amongst the tougher sprinters. The peloton rolls out from Potenza at an elevation of 190 meters up, a city steeped in the history and perched high in the Basilicata region. As the riders leave the elevated start, the initial 8.7 kilometers immediately feature a noticeable descent, providing a fast start but demanding early concentration. This is followed by a gradual uphill section leading towards the first marked point around Bonapitacolo, which is at 939 meters at elevation in just the first 14.5 kilometers, indicating early climbing intentions of the route. The profile then shows a series of shorter climbs and descents, maintaining a lumpy character as the race heads towards its first test point in some regard, coming towards the Muro Lucano, which has dropped the riders down to 575 meters. This section is marked by several intermediate peaks and valleys, with the riders going up a category 2 climb at 19.9 kilometers in length, 3.8% gradient. That does have a maximum gradient of 11% for the riders, so not too testing, but certainly is an opportunity for riders to break away. And the top comes at 1,136 meters elevation at the top of the Valico di Monte Caruso, which dominates the midsection of the initial half of the stage. The climb itself is masking a more complex reality. The indicated flatter section midway up are around the 940 meters elevation mark will provide a brief lull before the gradient likely kicks up again towards the summit. This sustained effort will be a significant test for the pure sprinters and a prime opportunity for climbers to test the waters as well. Following the descent of this climb, the undulating terrain persists. The profile reveals a sawtooth pattern of small ascents and descents through towns such as Pistobagana, Svincolo di Muro de Sanchis, preventing any sustained recovery. The second category climb of the day is the Montefort Irpino, which comes with 132.8 kilometers into the stage, and this is a Cat 3 climb, which is preceded by what the text describes as a false flat, visible on the gradual incline leading up to the steeper final 3.8 kilometer section, averaging 4.6%. The relatively low altitude compared to what we saw earlier suggests this climb, coming with 82 kilometers to go, might be more suited for the late attacks rather than the GC contenders seeking significant gains. The profile dramatically changes after the summit of the climb. A gradual descent is evident, eventually leading to the flat plains as the race heads towards Napoli, which sits at an elevation of just not 400 meters, just 4 meters. The remaining 80 kilometers of the race will showcase a relatively consistent flat trajectory, punctuated by minor undulations that are unlikely to significantly impact the peloton's speed. This flat final section heavily favors the sprinters' teams to get reorganized after many of them might have been in problems after the first section of the stage, and they will look to control the race and the pace to reel in any remaining breakaway riders. The final kilometers into Napoli, a city with a rich history of Giro d'Italia sprint finishes, promises to be a fast and potentially chaotic finale. The profile doesn't show any significant late climbs or technical sections within the final kilometers, indicating a likely bunch sprint on the wide open roads. The memory of Olav Koi's first victory last year in his career in a Grand Tour will certainly be one that the people will think about, as he is in the race. He beat the likes of Milano and Milan for that win. Mats Pedersen also triumphed here in 2023, and the sheer number of previous sprint victories in Napoli by legendary fast men will fuel the ambitions of the current crop of sprinters as they hurtle towards the finishing line. Stage 6 is a clear contrast between the demanding Alpine foothills and the Tyrrhenian coast, setting a compelling battle between those who thrive on the climbs and the powerful fast men who will eagerly await the chance of winning in Napoli. So with that out of the way, in terms of the contenders, yes, we mentioned Olaf Koy and Mats Pedersen, who are very good at staying with this kind of hardy terrain. We could be looking towards a breakaway as well, even though that is potentially unlikely. And Nico Dens would definitely try and replicate what he did a few years ago, where he won 2 stages of the Giro in 2023. But it will be very unlikely to see these guys get the chance in the break. So I'm looking more towards, as we said, Mats Pedersen, Olaf Koy, Caden Groves, and even the likes of Wout van Aert to take the win. But it really is the battle of that first half. Who can hang in it? Who can stay in touch with the favorites and be there when the sprint comes in Napoli? So it will be very, very interesting if they do push the pace in the mountains. But Wout van Aert could definitely add his name to the Napoli winners, I think. And yeah, it would be very good to see. But anyways, with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and why not comment down below who you think is going to win. Is this going to be one for Wout van Aert? As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.